Hello, welcome to Access. Joining us today from Rocksteady is Dax Jin. Good to meet you, Dax. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Pleasure.
I've just had my second hands-on actually with Batman Arkham Knight. Is this something that you've been building up to for quite some time now? The Arkham games, they've been expanding, they've been getting bigger, and now we've got fully open world Gotham City. We've got the Batmobile, which everyone's been wanting for ages. You know, it feels like this is it. We've arrived now at the ultimate Batman game. Would you say that's a fair assessment of what Arkham Knight is?
I think from Arkham Asylum through Arkham City, it's been a journey of empowerment for Batman. And in Arkham Knight, he's at his most powerful. The addition of the Batmobile really just rounds out everything that you expect from a kind of conclusive Batman chapter, which this is.
And like the level of detail is always something that the Arkham games have been held up for.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got easily the biggest world in the Arkham series. How challenging has it been to increase size but not decrease detail? Are we still going to see all the cool little, you know, DC Comics Easter eggs, and is the city still going to be, you know, packed full of this fan-pleasing detail that everyone's come to expect from Arkham games?
We do that because we're fanboys ourselves, so we do it for ourselves more than anything else. And it's just awesome that other Batman fans and DC fans kind of appreciate that level of detail. But yeah, the point that you made about Rocksteady being renowned for that sort of level of detail is something we chose to do. It's important to us. Building out a game world of this size and scale has been such a huge effort for the art team. So we've had to really expand the art team at Rocksteady, but we had no choice. Like, that's what we have always wanted to do. That's something that is critical to the way that we work. So gamers can expect all of that handcrafted detail, but on the size and scale of the entirety of Gotham. It's a big balancing act that we have to take on, but we've done it, and I think it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks awesome, but I guess you've got now also a challenge of Batman now has two options for traversing this huge space. He can do the traditional gliding about, but now he's got the Batmobile as well. So, you know, what have you got in there? You know, how are you making the most of, you know, both the Batmobile and Batman's ability to glide around all over the place? You know?
Well, it's a lovely option to have. You know where your objective point is at any time with the bat signal in the sky, to be able to decide, right, I'm going to drive there, or I'm going to glide there, or I'm going to do a little bit of both, is a choice I never get sick of making. It sounds bizarre, like you'd sort of think, oh, well, you know, you would either choose one or the other, but it's just not the way that it plays out. You always make that decision sort of based on the little intricacies of what's going on at that moment in time. And I don't know about you, but just being on foot and having a fight in the street or something, and then calling in the Batmobile, and then it just turns up, and it smashes through a wall or comes out of a side street in a huge jump or something. It feels like calling your best friend to your side, or a dutiful dog. It's just such a great feeling.
A dog with after.
That's my kind of dog.
One of the I've got my had a go on the Riddler race challenge today, which was a surprise. I had no idea that kind of thing was in there. So, you know, what else can we expect from the Batmobile other than just using it for traversal and, you know, for combat? We've seen combat, we've seen traversal.
Yes.
You know, what are the other cool things that you can do with the Batmobile in the game?
Well, the Batmobile was the first decision we made about the game at all. So everything is built around it. The shape of the city, the size of the city, the layout of the streets. But when you think about all the rogues gallery, the supervillains who are teamed up with Scarecrow to take down Batman, it's really Riddler himself who understands that in order to get to Batman, you have to destroy his protective shell.
Yeah.
And that is the Batmobile. It's his sword, it's his shield, it's everything. So the Riddler's intellectual approach, I think, really sets him apart from everybody else who is just going after Batman, whereas, you know, he's pretty well protected in the Batmobile. So Riddler has taken over all of the underground water systems, the sewers, the waterworks underneath Gotham, and turned them into these huge, insane puzzle circuits. So I think his particular challenge is the best example in the game of really pushing the Batmobile to its absolute limit. But when you're up in the streets, the Batmobile is your companion. It's there wherever you want it to be, whenever you need it. And that, for me, is this really unexpected emotional connection that you have with this legendary car. It's so strange that it works, but it totally does.
And there's so much. Another thing that struck me was how much new stuff there is, how many new things Batman can do. Like, I was being shown how to, you know, drive the Batmobile forward and leap out of it and smash through ceilings and do fear takedowns and like, And one of the
even that just sounds awesome, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you sold it to me.
Yeah. Should we swap round? Another thing I wanted to talk about was I did a bit of the combat with the dual takedowns.
Dual play, yeah.
Tell us a bit about the dual takedowns before I just,
Well, we've only kind of just announced this in a trailer a few weeks ago, and it's something that I've just been kind of desperate to talk about for so long because it's one of my favorite features. So fundamentally, it's a natural extension of the free flow combat system, which has this inherent rhythm to it. When you're really mastering it, you feel like it's more of a dance than a fight, And we wanted to give players the opportunity to experience what it's like fighting with another character. And so Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman are the obvious kind of companions to Batman in that respect. But the takedown moves that have always been part of the free flow combat system with Arkham Asylum, sort of plussing that up into a dual play takedown, which is easy enough to pull off based on an on-screen prompt, but it's such a visual spectacle. When the two of them come together to take down dude, I just never get sick of that. And then when it's puzzle solving with Catwoman or combat with Robin or Nightwing, they take place in very specific parts of the game because fundamentally it's still a Batman game. You don't then take Nightwing and off you go on a new adventure. Like, you always come back to Batman. But it's these lovely little kind of departures into playing with other characters just for a little bit. And they've got their own gadgetry, their own moves. It just spices up the variety of the action on offer.
I mean, the cast of the game is huge as well. I mean, we've got Robin and Nightwing and Catwoman, with Batman, and a huge array of villains as well. How much of a challenge is it to create a story that is able to incorporate all of these characters in it?
The balancing act is not making any one character feel trivial, I think. You've got such kind of significant characters like Two-Face and Penguin who've been part of our stories for a long time. But coming up with narrative sort of reasons for them to be in the story at all, because that would be the worst thing, to create a story that has meaningless roles in it. So we really think very carefully about, like, does this character earn their place? And for someone like Riddler, like, no question, there's so much gameplay you can get out of Riddler. Harley Quinn is going through a massively traumatic period in her life, so there's a lot of very interesting emotional things you can do with her as a character. A lot of the side missions, Two-Face and Penguin, fit beautifully because they're just such aggressive go-getters and they're just irrepressible in their pursuit of Batman. Scarecrow himself, his return has been something we've planned for a long time since the end of Arkham Asylum. So there's not a single character where you think, let's just put this guy in because he looks cool. Like, they've all earned their place in the cast.
Brilliant. And just to wrap up then, the Arkham games have always been about being Batman and nailing that feeling of what it's like to be Batman. What do you think Arkham Knight does above and beyond what the previous games have done to help players feel like they're Batman?
I think this game, in a way that the others haven't, deals with Batman's emotional state and the people that are close to him. Because he's always felt like a very isolated hero previously. Whereas what we set out to achieve with Arkham Knight was what his decisions mean for the people that rely on him, for the people that trust him, and for the people that love him. Because you've got this united force of evil on the other side of the table. Like, what's the Bat family's response to that? And so, beyond the combat and the navigation and the gadgetry and the suits and the super cool badass attitude, like, what does it feel like to be the Batman when people who love you and who you love are put in the line of fire because of the decisions that you have made? That's a really different kind of story and experience that we've never tackled in the past, but it's a big piece of what this game is all about. So I think once gamers get to the end of it, they will have been on a journey as Batman that they perhaps didn't expect, but will give them a deeper understanding of what it is like to be the Batman in this kind of end-of-world set of circumstances.
Well, you've not got long to wait now. It's very nearly here.
Super soon.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Dax. It's been a pleasure. The game is predictably brilliant. I can't wait for it to come out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to have loads more videos on Batman coming up really soon.